Hello guys, today I'm making another video of reaction, and today we're making another video of Lamar's. I almost got kidnapped by a creepy man at the park, and I think this is just one story. Next we're gonna watch that, so let's get to it.
It was the weekend on Saturday evening. Kayla's parents had to go to England for a meeting, so they told her to stay home by herself. But before they left, they installed a good security system in the house. At around 5:30 p.m. the next day, she received an email from her dad saying that he had transferred money to the bank and wanted Kayla to withdraw it. She sighed in frustration, but had to go to the ATM before it got dark because it could be dangerous. She started off walking the usual 5-minute distance and arrived at the ATM. She noticed a man leaning on the light post to the right of it. He was facing down and was completely shirtless with long black trousers on. Kayla was confused and many questions were running in her head. Why is he looking down and why is he shirtless on a cold November's evening? She quickly withdrew the cash and got out immediately. Kayla turned around to see if the man was still standing there, but he was gone. She sighed in relief, thinking that he had already left. She turned her head and suddenly the man was standing in front of her. Kayla nearly screamed in terror with her heart pounding faster than it ever has, and he was staring at her with soulless cold eyes and a creepy smile on his face. She dared not to open her mouth to ask what was wrong with him. Instead, Kayla took that opportunity to run as fast as she could and pass him by. She ran a good distance away and glanced over her shoulder to see if he was following her, but for some reason he didn't move from that spot. In less than 3 minutes, she reached her house. Kayla then checked her security cameras to see if that man followed her home, and luckily, he didn't. Feeling paranoid, she decided to sleep on the couch that night near the recording TV. The next morning, Kayla woke up early to go for a run at a nearby park. She was walking into the deeper area of the park where there were no people ahead of her, but then she noticed that somebody was following her. She just thought it might be a regular person walking in the park, so she plugged in her earphones, turned on the music, and continued running. A few seconds later, she felt the ground vibrate with heavy steps of a man, then suddenly the man wrapped his arms around Kayla's waist. Kayla screamed and he remained silent and let go of his left arm from her waist and covered her mouth. She bit his hand until his skin broke and bled. He was screaming in agonizing pain, but was not so foolish to free her from his locked right arm. She immediately turned around to face him, and that's when she saw that it was the same guy from yesterday at the ATM. He lowered his face closer to Kayla and said, "I've never seen such a beautiful girl like you from my whole neighborhood." Kayla was so freaked out and panicked, trying to resist, but the guy wouldn't let go of her. By some miracle, 2 security guards approached him from behind and knocked him down to his feet, handcuffed him, and took him to the police. Kayla asked the security guards how they knew she was in danger. He said that the security team fixed hidden cameras on trees and light posts for visitor safety 3 days ago after there were reports that young teenage girls go missing in this park. Kayla thanked the security guard after saving her life, and he told her not to travel places anymore without an adult. After 15 minutes, the police arrived at the scene and they asked Kayla for details and how it all started. Kayla then called her dad and told him about the incident. The police gave her a ride home and said they would give her an update on the situation. She thanked them for the help and left. 2 days passed. Kayla got a call from the police and they said that they collected all the information and details about the man. He fled from his country and admitted to many felonies and will be sent back to receive his punishments and the death sentence.
Wow, that was creeps. Okay, so we're watching.
After walking 6 miles at an amusement park, Bill's back needed a vacation from his vacation, so he's...
Okay, now we're watching. What was he planning to
Kevin
do?
had just turned 21, so he and his friend decided to go to a bar one night and was approached by a cute girl named Candace. He didn't know she was just trying to get free drinks by flirting, so he told her that they didn't have much money. However, Candace was the one who offered, and she kept buying more and more. Kevin started getting confused as to who she liked more between him and David and why she was being so generous. A little later, they both carried David out the bar. She kept telling him to go home with her, but he was so out of it he could barely answer. Kevin told her that he couldn't let him go anywhere as he didn't want David to wake up in a random house without a car and not remembering what happened. Candace kept pushing it, saying that she would take care of him, but Kevin told her that the only way David was going anywhere was if he tagged along. Immediately, she started flirting with Kevin and offered to get his friend a taxi and said they could drive to her place alone. At this point, Kevin had a few drinks and was pretty buzzed, so he agreed. They got David a taxi to go home, and the two walked to Candace's car. Everything was happening so quickly and he started feeling uneasy. They got in the car and she drove the street when she asked if he wanted to stop at the store and get some more to drink. Kevin wanted to be able to carry himself throughout the rest of the night, so he declined. He did find Candace attractive and he didn't want to seem lame, so he told her to get a pint with some apple juice to chase it. She went in the store and came out with a lot more than just a pint. Kevin assumed that she wanted to drink as well, but throughout the car ride, Candace kept telling him to drink more and more. He somehow managed to drink all the juice, so he pretended to drink the bottle by spitting the liquor in the apple juice container. He then tossed the apple juice out the window before she could see it and just drank a little more from the remaining bottle. Kevin was able to make her believe he was actually drunk, but in reality, he was simply buzzed. They drove up to her house and he pretended to trip and stumble, so she helped him walk inside. The front door was unlocked, but she made sure it was locked when they got in. Kevin thought that was strange, but he didn't think too much of it, so he told her that he had to use the bathroom. He walked inside and looked at himself in the mirror. He just felt strange. There was definitely something off. He turned on the sink to make noise and made himself puke up the liquor he drank. Kevin flushed and went to the sink and started drinking the tap water to sober up. He just didn't want to be drunk, but still wanted to hook up with Candace. Kevin turned the sink off when he suddenly heard her talking to someone outside. He's drunk as hell. He can barely stand up. You do it. Who was she talking to? And do what? Kevin walked out the bathroom, and the moment he stepped into the living room, he saw Candace walking into another room. That strange, very bright red hair. He didn't see her face or anything. Hey, where you going? She walked back into the dark living room and up to Kevin and said, "Let's go in my room." He looked at her bright red hair and into her eyes. They were different. Her face was different. It was another girl with the same hair. That's when Kevin realized it was another girl with the same wig on. It was a wig the entire time. Kevin's heart felt like it stopped, but he tried to look like he had no idea it was a different girl. Kevin kind of smiled and told her that he just needed to use the bathroom one more time and told her he was sorry he was so drunk. She said, "It's fine, just hurry up in there." Kevin went into the bathroom and locked the door. He heard her whispering something to someone again, this time thinking that he heard a male voice whispered back. Something sketchy was going on and he had to get out of the house. Kevin opened the bathroom window and jumped straight out of it and ran faster than he ever had in his life. Now looking back, he kept running down the main road until he saw a CVS and stood straight at the front of the store in front of the camera. Kevin then called a taxi and went home. He tried thinking about what happened that night. She kept buying him and his friend drinks and even paid for David's friend's taxi cab. And most of all, why did she wear a wig that she gave to another girl to wear? Who was she talking to? And what was in that room that they tried to lure him into?
The next day, Kevin went back to the house with a couple friends. No one was there. No cars were there. She ended up finding out that it was a summer rental. Whoever these people were in that house broke into for the night and never came back.
Comixology is Amazon's premier digital comics, graphic novels, and manga reading experience. With over 100,000 books available, you won't have any trouble discovering stories you'll love. You can read the entire comics page, view double-page spreads on screen, double tap to enter guided view, and
Making plans to move elsewhere. The letter described a love for her that had been going. It was the summer after graduation, and Jennifer was up late packing for a camping trip with her friends. She had the window open as she sat there folding clothes when she suddenly saw a hand coming through the gap in the screen of her window. Jennifer screamed and the hand flew back. She was stunned, but it could have just been her younger brother
Okay, first, I look like a little girl. She looked like a little girl right now. And then she looked like a woman.
pranking her. She got up and looked out the window and saw the figure of a man staring back at her. Jennifer ran into her brother's room but saw him there, playing video games. They called the police, who came and searched the area, but they found nothing. Officers warned her and her parents to lock the windows and doors, but the mother had a feeling that he would come back, and as it turns out, Mother's intuition was right. She went outside and waited in the back porch, and after 20 minutes, she saw a man dressed in...
I already did one of these.
On one Friday afternoon, I got a call from my friend Sarah asking if I wanted to meet her and another friend Lisa at Dunkin' Donuts, as we hadn't seen one another in a long time. I got there after a 15-minute walk and found them sitting together, so I joined them. As we were chatting, I noticed that my sister Elena was sat at a table in the corner of the room with her friend Jess. I excused myself